So welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to be carrying on reviewing Girls and Autism, Educational, Family and Personal Perspectives. So from where I finished off in my last video, I was talking about the experiences of Carrie Grant, who's a voice coach, and Carrie has several autistic children, and I was talking specifically about her two girls, Talia and Imogen. And at the end of that chapter, on page 32, she poses some quite interesting questions about schools. Now, in the UK, there's a binary system between, on the one hand, mainstream schools, which take pupils of a whole array of different disabilities. Sorry, I'm not with it today. Sorry, bear with me. Sunshine gone to my head. Mainstream schools, which cater to a whole array of different abilities, is what I meant to say, sorry, not disabilities. Mainstream schools are set up for children of comprehensive. They take in a diverse spread of different needs and abilities, but they're primarily catered towards children who are not disabled. However, the vast majority of autistic children in the UK do attend mainstream schools. I think it's something like 70%, so the vast majority. It's only a small minority of autistics, usually those who have accompanying intellectual disabilities, who are sent to special schools. But the problem with the system in the UK is that it is very binary, and of course mainstream schools are not suitable for everyone. They're not suitable for everyone, but neither are sort of conventional special schools. So she says we really need schools that are not mainstream or traditional special. There needs to be places for sort of neurodiverse pupils who are bright, but where mental health is put first, but where they can still achieve their academic goals. Where are they, she asks. And she says, there's a sort of lack of funding. There's this systemic lack of funding. But we do, and I would agree with her, we do need, the funding does need to be provided to create more diverse provision, because the kind of binary of either mainstream or special is just too narrow. And I was thinking we need more schools like Limpsfield Grange. Limpsfield Grange, as I mentioned in a previous video, is one of a kind. It's a state-funded, so state-maintained, local authority-funded residential and day school. It provides both day and residential provision for girls with social and communication difficulties as well as autism. But most of the kids who go to that school are kind of a reasonably good, have kind of like an average sort of, or above average sort of general intelligence. So I think the vast majority of them do not have an intellectual disability and are capable of potentially, say, going on to university with the right support. And they are given that academic support and encouraged to go on and do GCSEs and things. But they are also given the social and emotional support, which is so crucial if you're autistic, and a kind of like hidden curriculum that isn't taught in your kind of like conventional mainstream school. It doesn't teach that hidden curriculum, like how to make friends, how to change a light bulb, how to make a bed, like things like that I think like teachers just assume that like your average child is going to pick up naturally in the course of their development. But if you're autistic, you don't pick these things up naturally. Like it wasn't until I was in my 20s that I learned actually how to make a bed. Not through want of trying, because my mum had shown me loads of times, but just because I found it really, really difficult. And I still find it difficult. I can make a bed now, but it is so hard work. And I think it always will be hard work because I'm not great on coordination and it involves a lot of effort. But yeah, these things, like autistic people can be helped to maybe be given more explicit teaching, these kind of everyday life skills. And your average mainstream school isn't going to provide that. But at the same time, obviously, special schools aren't suitable for all autistic people either. Your conventional special school, which kind of often doesn't really stimulate or doesn't really, because your conventional special school is often aimed towards those who have like more intellectual disabilities. But so we need like a special schools that encourage academic development while at the same time looking after the social and emotional needs. And I really would have benefited from a school like that. I went to a mainstream school. Mainstream primary was fine. I survived that, and I think, you know, if it had just been left at that, that wouldn't have been a problem because I wasn't aware of my differences back then. And I actually quite enjoyed the last few years of primary. Secondary was a different matter entirely. Now, when you can't make friends and you don't know how to make friends and you become aware of that fact, that destroys your self-esteem. They say that mainstream is good because it encourages social skills. No, that is not the correct. That is just so wrong because, like, that is the theory, but seriously, if you're not being helped to make friends, it actually, all it does is it destroys your confidence. You go to that school and you're sitting all on your own at break times. What the hell is the point in that? Not your mental health goes down, and really you come out of it the other end scarred. And you can sometimes, I don't know if I'm ever going to completely undo the resentment, the anger, because I feel, you know, like really quite pissed off about what happened at secondary school, because you feel so angry because it kind of like, it literally, you know, you essentially become like a sort of nobody, a non-entity, because sitting all on your own all the time and not being supported, not being encouraged, not being told what you can do, what you can do well, you know, you end up feeling like a failure. So I would have, certainly I would have actually quite liked to have gone to a school that kind of took into account my social and emotional and development and encouraged my self-esteem and helped me feel good about myself and encouraged me. Not once was I given a part in a school play, for example. Oh no, those parts only go to the most popular kids. If you're anything but popular in a mainstream school, and I don't think this is just necessarily autistics, I think maybe like anyone who's on the fringes, even those who are just extremely introverted, often goes to secondary school, I think, can destroy your self-esteem. Okay, I won't go on about that, but let me know what you think about whether or not there should be more in the way of special schools, in inverted commas, for autistics who are not, who are kind of in a sense between the gaps, if you like. Between the gaps? That doesn't make sense. Caught in the middle, that's what I meant to say, caught in the middle. So maybe like too able for like your conventional special school, but at the same time maybe mainstream isn't like entirely suitable either. So let me know your thoughts. Okay, so I'm going to be moving on to video number 2 now, to talk about Vanessa Bob and her experiences. So moving on to video number 2 now.